Now it is. Boy, that's interesting. Okay. I thought it was. So thanks, Deb. So again, let me just start over. Tonight, we're talking in general about just cryptocurrencies, the industry, positioning, and why positioning is so important. And again, the positioning of TruIQ and more importantly, TruQoin, and why we are doing the things we're doing. We just didn't develop TruQoin as another meme coin and throw it out there, hoping that we could hype it up, talk about it, promote it, and then do a rug pull on all of our members and especially people who bought it. So that's not what we're about in our ecosystem and in our program. So what I wanted to start with tonight is here, the money in markets and kind of where cryptocurrency sits in the world economy as far as a currency and as far as money. So again, each one of these little dots represents $100 billion. Now, again, this is about a year and a half, 2 years old. Obviously, cryptocurrency now is tapped out. I think it's hovering right, all cryptocurrencies is hovering right around $1 trillion of capital in cryptocurrencies. And I wanted to point this out to show you again, as we talk about positioning, why that's so important and also why that is a huge opportunity for anybody that wants to get into cryptocurrency. Now, we believe that in TruIQ, we're developing out a pretty cool ecosystem. And with TruQoin, we've really positioned ourselves well in that we've built a solid foundation, in that we have a legitimate company, consumable products, guarantee consumable products, that is laying the foundation for everything else we're building. Now, TruIQ is just one of those cogs in the wheel, if you will, one of those pieces of the puzzle that's going to help us continue to build our ecosystem and therefore the value in everything we do. So again, cryptocurrencies, it's over $1 trillion now. It's 1.1 trillion, I think, as of this week in value. And so I want to compare that to some other things. I'm not going to do everything, cover everything here. There's some interesting things though, if you read through the fine print on all this. Coins and banknotes, which means the actual printed currencies, the dollar bill, the $5 bill, the $10 bill, that is $6.6 trillion in circulation. And that's the actual money. That's you think about the money that trades hands every day. That's not a lot of currency. $6.6 trillion being passed around from wallet to wallet, hand to hand. That's what is in the market in the world. And of course, let's go down. Billionaires, gold. So here's gold. Gold is $10.9 trillion. So cryptocurrency, if you believe the crypto people who are totally crypto fanatics, they truly believe, and I don't think it'll surpass gold. It may or may not, but they all believe that because of the way that the fiat currencies work around the world, that cryptocurrency, in particular Bitcoin, will become the gold standard. It will maybe even replace the value of gold as time goes on, because of the way true decentralized cryptocurrencies work. They can't be, you can't produce more. It's intrinsic. You can't, mainly you can't print more Bitcoin. We can't print more TruQoin. That's why we modeled TruQoin after Bitcoin, because there's only 21 million coins that will ever be minted. And we can't just invent like the Fed does. They just push a button and print more currency. That's why our money is not worth anything these days, because inflation's just eating it up. Well, cryptocurrencies, you can't do that. Gold, of course, you can mine more gold. It's hard to mine it. That's why it became the standard for all currencies across the world, because it's hard to get. But there you go, $10 trillion in gold. Half of it's in gold bullion, the other half's in jewelry. Again, it's a utility. It's used for something just besides a means of trade. It's decorative. People use it in watches and jewelry, and so it has a real value. And I bring that up because I want to talk about TruQoin and Bitcoin even as a commodity, as a commodity used for trade in the future. Okay, we'll get back to that in a minute. Stock market has about 89, 90 trillion dollars in it. The entire world money supply, which is, bank notes, mutual funds, money market funds, things that are actually backed by real money, is 95 trillion. And then we get down here. The rest of this is just kind of interesting. And this is the reason why cryptocurrency, in my opinion, is also one of the main reasons why, especially Bitcoin was launched, is because of this. Oh, let me go, before I go into that, jump right here. And I'm going to bring this up because towards the end of my presentation, I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more. Global real estate market. The entity I'm talking about tonight in the minimum here is Citibank. And they did a study and they did a report here and they released it just a couple months ago. The tokenization of assets is where blockchain and tokens are going. Cryptocurrency is managed and its function is supported by blockchain technology. Tokens and digital assets also use blockchain technology. And the report I'm going to be citing tonight, the banks are starting to get a hang of this here and they're starting to understand it. And they truly believe that real estate will be one of the big things. Art, real estate, assets, anything of major asset is going to be tokenized in the future. And you look at the real estate market here, in the real estate market, just in the US alone, 220 trillion for residential, 33 trillion for commercial, agriculture, $27 trillion. Do you think there might be a small possibility there for those good tokens and cryptocurrencies or tokenization in a program and an ecosystem can be utilized? It's a huge industry. And we keep talking about that here when we do our presentations, especially on Wednesday nights, when I talk about the utility of a solid cryptocurrency, what it could be used for in the future. The market is huge for where cryptocurrency can go. Now we go down here, derivatives, obviously after 2008, look, derivatives and different swaps, these are all a part of what caused the crash in 2008. And we're back there again as an economy, a world economy. It's quadrillion is what it is. I can't remember the exact number. It's one quadrillion of notes, promissory notes, derivatives, investments on top of investments. Is it any wonder that people are looking for a new stable form of currency they can transfer wealth around the world privately amongst themselves? And then you go back here to the very top, cryptocurrency is only $1 trillion right now. You guys, the reason I brought this up is I wanted to point out the opportunity we have here with just cryptocurrency in general, not TruQoin, but we're a part of this. We're a part of this ecosystem now, and we're building a platform that's going to continue to enhance what we're doing to take advantage of that industry. Let's move on. Positioning is everything. Wow, why is this so large? Hang on a second. Let me see if I can back that down a little bit. Okay. Well, I'll see if it resizes itself. Positioning is everything. We talked about, again, these are some things that are happening. Grayscale just last month got its approval from the SEC for doing a spot Bitcoin ETF. That's huge news. I'm not going to go into explaining what each of these are, but that means, in essence, real quick, they can now they will now be able to trade through a typical US-based exchange. It's called a spot Bitcoin account, which means they have to hold the Bitcoin. In order for them to do that, they've got to start buying millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin to sell it through their spot ETF. BlackRock is another one that has put in a request to do a spot ETF. There's others, ARK. There's about 12 right now that are trying to get spot ETFs. Oh, just so you know, this actually right now, Grayscale is actually now going after an ETF for Ethereum as well. So I bring this up because the world's coming along, especially the US. The US is dragging behind the rest of the world. Europe already's got digital asset regulation, cryptocurrency regulation in place. They're now friendly to cryptocurrency companies, and cryptocurrency companies are exploding in Europe and the EU. You got the EAU, that whole territory, Switzerland, Sweden. I mean, a lot of these countries are adopting cryptocurrency. We talked about ARK Investment. I bring this up a lot. ARK Investment is also another company that has put in for a license to do spot ETFs. So they are also trying to get to the point where they can buy Bitcoin. And so obviously that's going to drive the entire industry up. As soon as the US gets their act together and the SEC gets out of the way, that's going to start happening. And we talk about this alone, digital assets, blockchain, wallets, Web3, those things alone, you've seen me do the slide that just the things that we're dabbling with in TruIQ, along with our great products, is we're also doing our technologies, is over a 200 by 2023. No, let's just big ideas in 2023. By 2030, 7 to 8 short years from now, ARC predicts, and this is an investment firm, that's what they specialize in, is in technology investment firm, over $200 trillion is what the industry that we're dabbling in right now is going to be worth. And that's why I bring this up. Again, positioning is everything. Now, as a company, we always talked about, we utilize the Tron blockchain. And we did that. We launched with the blockchain with our smart contracts about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And people says, what Tron? We'd never even heard of them. Back then, when we launched, Tron was number 4 in the world. No one even knows about them. I bet most of you tonight who I'm talking to don't even know about Tron, but it is now the second largest chain, they call them chains, in the world, behind Ethereum. Ethereum is number 1, of course. A bunch of projects, 941 projects are on Ethereum. And this is a snapshot I took today. So they have $1.46 billion in assets now in Ethereum. Tron now has $6.6 billion in assets on their blockchain. 41 projects. Hey, guess who one of those projects is? Could be TruQoin. So we picked the right chain, and we did that because they're decentralized, and they weren't here in the US where governance was not friendly to crypto, and they're growing by leaps and bounds. Now the second largest chain in the world. We're doing things right, you guys, and we chose properly 2 years ago to go with that chain because we knew what they were about. Look, Dan, when I talked to him about starting this program, we talked about, do we use Ethereum? Do we use Polygon? Do we use, no, there's a bunch of them out there. Do we use the Binance chain? And when I measured Ethereum, he laughed at me. He says, Ethereum? He goes, no, you're being a moron to use Ethereum. Their gas fees are expensive, and they're not decentralized 100%. They don't do staking at the time. These are all things that we knew we wanted to do. So we went with the Tron blockchain. Again, positioning ourselves to be in the right position as we grew our ecosystem. So we talked about these things in the past. That passed by. China, is becoming friendly to cryptocurrency. And now a little bit of FUD here. Investors are likely to lose almost 545 million worth of Bitcoin last year, which they did. Now, I wanted to scroll down. This is weird. Okay, let me just see if this moves forward. Oh, here it is. Total number of global cryptocurrency owners last year in 2022 grew to 425 million users. That's wallet owners of cryptocurrency. Now, in 2023, I looked up the stats from this same company, crypto.com. I looked up the same stats here a few weeks ago. In 2023, almost 36% of those wallets have now been closed or dropped off. Almost 40% of those wallets are now gone. And the study I read is because obviously people lost interest. 2021, 2022, during the pandemic, people were bored. They're looking for things to do. Crypto exploded. Now it's kind of gone back down to a more realistic value of where it should have been. And everybody dropped out. You guys, this is a huge opportunity for us. The reason people dropped out was they lose their wallets. Okay. We know about that. We've prepared for that. And they've lost interest. And more importantly, it's become too complicated for them to understand why they even got into it in the first place. Sure, they may have had a friend that got them into it. They may have bought some cryptocurrency, but when they started to play around with it, you guys, it is confusing. Cryptocurrency wallets are hard to understand. Trading cryptocurrency is hard to understand. It takes a number of steps to get through it. And so we looked at that as we put our program together. And as we continue to develop our program, we know that we need to help our members and the public understand crypto. That's why we do training, help them in the process. And more importantly, as we build out our ecosystem, we build bridges that will help everybody adopt, understand, learn, and use not just TruQoin, but cryptocurrency. Now we're starting with TruQoin because that's our coin. Obviously, as we get our foundation more solid, we're going to bring others in, other crypto projects in. We know that we have to do cross-chain, integration. I talk about interoperability a lot. That's a huge deal. You've got to have those things in order for there to be mass adoption. So let's move on. Obviously, positioning. That's why we developed the Q Club. It takes into account the merging of all these things together. The technologies, not just our technology, but all the technologies out there. Our sites that we're building, your miner site that you as members have, is built with Web3 technology. Our new swapping site is built with Web3 technology. Those are technologies that utilize the encryption algorithms of blockchain, so that wallets work within those technologies, those websites. And so those are the things we're laying the foundation for. Q Club is the accumulation of all of that coming together. The technologies, the marketing, the training, the commissions, the rewards for you for helping us build this ecosystem. That's the reason we developed Q Club, was to bring it all together into one easy to understand location where you can now share it with other people. And it's taking off. It's starting to pick up some steam as we go out to the crypto world. Now, real quick, I want to talk about this report I just picked up this week. Citibank. Obviously, you all know that we've talked about this over the last 6-7 years. Banks have not been friendly to cryptocurrency. Matter of fact, there's been a concerted effort over the last few years to squelch and almost destroy cryptocurrency, because it's obviously, it was and is competition to the banks. With one caveat, it's a competition to the banks who don't get their act together and come along and join this new movement of blockchain technology and tokenization and all the benefits that can come from that. Oh my gosh, I wanted to get off on a tangent here, but I won't. I'll be good and stay on target here. So Citibank actually this summer put out a report, and that's why I've got them highlighted here. They're one of the banks that get it. And they released this report called Money, Tokens, and Games. And in this report, you guys, it's over 100 pages long. No, I didn't read this one, as I do sometimes. I did skim through this, though, and as I skimmed through it, I looked at some of the headers and some of the chapters, and the ones that caught my eye, I read through those pages and looked at the reports, and wow, Citibank actually is coming along. They've looked at it and said, yep, we understand this is here to stay. And they did this report, and here are the highlights. I do want to spend some time on this. I know it's a lot of text on the screen, and you don't need to read it all. I'll tell you what it's about, because I want to talk about some of that. Liquidity across platforms. So these are the things that Citibank says needs to be in place for we as a bank. It was a report for them and any other banks that wanted to read it and come along, but it was a report they did internally and they published it. These are the things we know that we need to address in the world of blockchain technology. It was all these different things. So liquidity across platforms and accounts. Now, as we build up TruSwap, I started talking about this the last week or two. You know, we launched TruSwap to the crypto industry, and when we launched it, we had a debate. Do we just launch it like everybody else does with most of the meme coins and just give it to the crypto people? Some of us said, no, don't do that, because we know what crypto people do. They'll just cash out and they'll run. And we did it. And of course, the discussion was, well, no, some of these people know, we explained to them what we're doing. They know the program, they understand the program, that they need to hold on to the coins. We're building this ecosystem. So let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. And we launched TruSwap. And then Dan went to Africa, introduced it to a bunch of his crypto buddies. And sure enough, not going to hide it. It's not embarrassing. It's just the fact of where we're at. It's the nature of the beast. And those guys got their coin and they start cashing it out, and our liquidity pool started shrinking. And we said, oh, stop it. Okay. We need to shut down that trading on SunSwap. We turned off the SunSwap trading, and we kept our liquidity pool in TruSwap. And now we're starting to build that up slowly again. And we're educating those people. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. Those people who are in it only for the quick buck, who don't care about the ecosystem, are the type of people who watch for meme coins. And they'll sit there and just watch for a coin, and they'll look for somebody who hypes it. The coin goes up, and then they'll buy a bunch when it's low and then sell it all. And then they just don't care about the other people who come in later. They don't care about the program. They're in it to make a quick buck. And those programs, those types of coins are going away. Do you realize there's over 5,000 meme coins in the world that have been developed? And only about 150 to 200 real cryptocurrency projects make it onto the major exchanges, the Krakens, the Binance, the KuCoins. All those major exchanges will only put on the good programs they know have staying power, because they're in it to make money long term. So you will not see all those meme coin projects go on those exchanges, because they do not want to be exposed or have to deal with the fallout of those cryptocurrencies that go crazily up and down. They're looking for long-term, good, solid, stable projects to list. We will go there at some point. We're not ready to yet. Again, we're slowly building our ecosystem. We're going to do it at the right time. Liquidity platforms are important though. And if you understood the back end of cryptocurrency projects, all the good swapping sites have huge liquidity pools that they've dumped millions of dollars into. We don't quite have millions of dollars, but we've got a lot we're putting in there, and we're going to slowly start building our liquidity pool now. So when we go out to the exchanges, we can show them we got hundreds of thousands of dollars in there, and that we can now continue to grow our platform. That's what we're doing. The second one here, I'll try to speed this up a little bit. Speed to transactions must and will be improved. Speed of transactions must and will be improved. Citibank realizes that. Do you realize that today I transferred, this is interesting. I'll also add the cost. They didn't mention the cost. Of course, they're a bank. But a typical bank, if you transfer funds, you know, is going to be anywhere from 3 to 6% for you to transfer funds from one bank to another, or from a bank to another person. And today I transferred $4,000. And you know what it cost me to transfer it through the exchange I use? That's a swapping exchange. It cost me $40, 1%. And you know how quick it happened? $4,000 within, it was about a minute and 45 seconds. I got my wallet, went ding, ding. I looked down and the money had transferred that quick. Banks, if I would have transferred $4,000 through my bank, it would have cost me $120, and it would have taken them 2 days, maybe 3 days to transfer those funds. The banks know they're going to get left behind unless they catch on. Again, positioning is everything. They're catching on. They've got to now get into this game, or they're going to get left behind. Okay, private blockchains for trade and commerce. We know that we need to go there, and we plan to go there in the future as things continue to grow. But they do realize that private blockchains owned by individual companies, are going to be a key to commerce in the future. I'm letting you know, we haven't talked about this, but the foundation we've laid in TruQoin includes that very thing, because we know that the other businesses we're going to be dealing with also are going to want to be involved in blockchain and smart contracts and Web3. We're building that foundation. Tokenization of assets will grow by 80 times. They even did their own report. It'll grow by 80 times by 20. That's this year. Sorry, I meant to do 2030. I put it 2023. But by 2030, they also say that it's going to grow. Just the tokenization of assets is going to grow to over $4 trillion. That's Citibank saying that. That's real estate, that's stocks, bonds, it's everything. They're going to start tokenizing those things that are out there in the world that people have to typically do a ton of paperwork for, send it to somebody, takes days for it to happen. The people have to sign it, they got to send it back. And this is all going to be tokenized and happen instantly in the future. That is the future of digital assets, tokens. Okay, interoperability. This is actually in their report. They actually coupled it with oracles though. And I haven't really talked about TruIQ being, or TruQoin being an oracle, but we're like a baby oracle. And I'll explain that in a second. Interoperability though, and oracles are critical to success. And that goes hand in hand with the last second to the last one there, secure bridges between blockchain and ecosystems and the external data sources. That's exactly what we're doing with TruIQ and all the transactions that happen. This meeting that you're on tonight participating in, we're taking that, it's in a typical data source that's not protected by blockchain. We take that information from Zoom, we take your transactions that happen here in the US in our database, and we have a bridge. It's an encrypted bridge over to our smart contracts in the blockchain. We're doing this right here. And Citibank actually just did a report saying this is something that's going to have to happen in the future for there to be mass adoption in cryptocurrency. You guys, look, we knew it. We knew it a year and a half ago when we started putting this program together. And I think we're doing a pretty good job here going down the right path. Interoperability, that's what that's called, is interoperability. And oracles, what an oracle is it's a gatekeeper. It's a guard that's watching all the activity. So in essence, because we have our Q Club, and we're storing, for those who want to store their information within our encrypted, secure vault, we're an oracle. We're a mini oracle. Now, I'm sure in the future that oracles are going to have to be licensed at some level. We know that's the case. I know that's the case. It's going to happen sooner or later, but at least we know that we're set up and we're doing it properly. and I don't refer to ourselves as an oracle, but in essence, that's what an oracle it is. Somebody who's managing, monitoring, and protecting people who are participating in the crypto industry, Web3, blockchain industry. That's what they're calling those individuals, are oracles. And we're already playing in that arena. The last one's really interesting. Citi actually admitted publicly that they've already done Swift transactions. Now, if you don't know what Swift is, that is the banking system is called the Swift network. And that's been around for 60, 70 years. That's the network that all transactions happen. If you do a wire transfer or ACH transfers in your bank account, it's through the Swift network. That's what they call it. Citibank has already done transactions using blockchain technology over the Swift network. And that's a huge deal because it means that they understand they've got to make that bridge happen, because the Swift network is going to go away in the future, you guys, because blockchain technology and the way that blockchain works with Web3, transactions happen instantaneously. Okay, I won't do a caveat with that, but they're happening a lot quicker. They're happening within seconds, fractions of a seconds on the level 2 tiers of blockchain technology. Bitcoin still takes a good 8 to 9 minutes, 7, 8, 9 minutes for it to transact. Ethereum is doing a lot better. They're getting better. And Bitcoin, that foundation is building the Lightning Network to improve the speed of Bitcoin transactions. Hey, Tron already figured it out. Their transactions happen within a few seconds to less than 30 seconds. But that's the new technology that's coming. And again, you guys, I bring all this up because what we're doing in TruIQ and with TruQoin, we're laying that foundation. We're already there. Now, this is something I want to play you. Again, positioning is everything. This is a gentleman called, his name is Paul Barron. I actually follow him. He's on YouTube. He talks about digital assets, tech paths, things like that. This is a presentation he actually did this last week. And so I took a snippet from it, and I'm exposing who it is, so I'm okay here. But I want to play this for you, and I'm going to turn this up really loud because this is what he says about what I just talked about Citibank. He also did a presentation about what's happening in the bigger arena of cryptocurrency, blockchain, tokenization, all the things I just talked about. This is just a segment of his presentation he did just this last week, and I want to play this for you. I hope you can hear it.
There's a lot of road work that has to be done, but in many cases, as all technology does, there's always that first person, through the door. You usually get a little bloody, but then there's usually one or two right after them. So I'm kind of curious as to who and what might be the next movers in this market, because we're going to remember we're still very early here, and you only have a handful, a spattering of banks and clients that are starting to really go in this direction. Once the dominoes really start to fall, I think this is going to be a new gold rush.
Okay. So it's not me just making this stuff up. There's a lot of people in the industry are saying, look, cryptocurrency, you guys, and I've said this before, cryptocurrency is just scratching the surface. We are just scratching the surface of what we have coming and have planned for all of us, all of our members. And again, remember, you've got to build that ecosystem. And we are at the beginning of where we are taking TruIQ and TruQoin, and the industry is at the beginning. We talk, I've shown this a couple of times, the early adopters, the early market, tech enthusiasts, visionaries are on the front of that. You're all, if you're here and you believe and you're taking your time, this 45 minutes out of your time tonight, you believe in this. I don't know else why you're here. You believe that we're doing something that's unique and different, and you're inviting your friends and your family and people around you, and you're building your teams. You're a visionary in this whole process. Okay. We're in the process of building the bridges across this chasm here to hopefully convince the pragmatics and the conservative people that this is the new technology that's coming. And you guys, I guarantee you it is coming. Now, what form it takes ultimately, it's going to keep changing. It's going to ebb and flow, and it's going to be modified here and there. Like we launched TruSwap, and then we said, oh, wait, the crypto people are crypto people. They have one mindset. So we had to stop them. We're like, okay, we're changing the smart contract in there. We're adding another smart contract to where they can't just go out and just take all the coin out immediately. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of marketing. And now that Dan's explaining it to them, they're like, okay, we get it. All right. We in order to participate, we got to participate in this whole ecosystem. Yes, you do. And we show them what that can mean to them in value in the future. And that's what this is all about. So we're at the early adoption. It's going to take a while. Those slow people, the conservative people who don't believe us, oh, crypto's a fad, oh, you guys don't know what you're doing. They'll come along in a few years from now, and they'll look back in 5-10 years from now, and you look at that adoption curve. This is the reward of the early adopters. The reward of market share is tied specifically to those who get in early to that adoption curve. The rewards come later on. It's again, as you know, the gentleman spoke to us a minute ago. He says those early adopters get a little bloody nose. People make fun of them. They don't believe what they're doing is right and it's true. But again, you have to do it right. You have to set it up so it's around in the future. And that's what we're doing here with TruQoin. So that down the road, the coins you're getting are worth hundreds of dollars, if not maybe $1,000 or $2,000. Nothing says it can't go that high. No guarantees again. But we're doing what we feel is right in building a foundation to make this a solid platform with a valuable coin. And the reward is going to keep coming. That's why we're focusing on these areas here that we talk about all the time. The technologies, well, products is the foundation. Products right in the middle of what we're doing. If we don't have solid products, and I talk about this all the time, even in the real world, you know, I talk about Elon Musk all the time. Okay, he's a fan. I'm a fan of his. If he just talked about inventing electric cars, if he just talked about building rockets, do you think he'd be the richest man in the world? Okay, you have to have a legitimate product to support all the things you're doing, and then the reward comes after. He almost went under. He came this close. If you listen to any of the talks he gave about his past, you know, after he sold his portion to PayPal, he took his $10 million, it was, maybe it was $100 million, and he put it into SpaceX and Tesla, and he was 2 payrolls away from going bankrupt. And then all that hard work, the years that you never heard about him in the trenches, those 3 or 4 or 5 years he spent developing and working hard and building his platform with a legitimate product. No one ever talked about him. They actually called him crazy. They actually did. Everybody, especially in the car industry, called him stupid and crazy because he was trying to compete with the big 3 automakers to do an electric car, which nobody wanted. Those are actual interviews that people are on. They're on the internet, on YouTube. You can find them. Okay. He stuck with it. He got a bloody nose, and now look at where he's at. I'm not saying we're going to be the next Elon Musk, you guys, but we're doing things in the right path, the right direction, and the right steps to get us to the next step of where we need to take TruQoin and TruIQ, and all of our members need to come along with us. Now we're in this together again. Without all of you, we don't have a community. We can keep building this ecosystem. We keep building these cool things we're building, but without you sharing it, doesn't matter, because we don't have anybody participating. That's why we reward our members with TruQoin, with True Points, which convert to TruQoin. So you help us do that and we reward you. And how do you do that? We always end up on this. Again, if you're not a member already, all you have to do is join with TruIQ. Get with the person that brought you. If you've not set up your smart ship yet, and again, we're promoting Q Club as that ultimate nice little package where everything's packaged up with a little bow on top. Q Club is the perfect avenue and mechanism for you to realize those rewards. And then the biggest part of this is you build a team. Those who are building a team right now in TruIQ, keep bringing new people to these meetings, to Jason's meetings, come to events, enroll them, get them to do the same. Those are the ones who are receiving the bulk of those coins every time we close a block. All you have to do is these 3 things in TruIQ, and the rest of everything that we talk about, the rest of it, you don't even have to pay attention if you don't want to. You don't even have to learn how swapping works, how exchanges work, how cryptocurrency works, how wallets work. We'll help you do all that through the Q Club. All of this is going to keep happening whether you build or not. It's just how much of it do you want? How much of it do you want of that pie for yourself? That's what it comes down to. And all you have to do is we simplified it for our members, because we know that most people just want to know what time it is. They don't want to watch me build the clock. They don't want me to explain to you how I built this cuckoo clock and how it all works and all the gears and the mechanisms. You just want to know what time it is. What time's dinner? That's all most people care about. And so we built the Q Club for that reason. We built TruIQ the way we did for that reason. You can earn some great income by sharing, but you can earn some great wealth by building a team with and getting TruQoin. And then the most important thing is stay involved. I mean, I was in this business for over 20 years, doing software on the software side of the business and helping other direct sales companies build their businesses. And I heard the story over and over again about people. I talk about Mona V since they're no longer in business. I mean, I met many people. We did the software for Mona V, went to almost they were almost they almost hit $1 billion. They went to $940 million, almost $1 billion in business the last year they were in business. We did all their software for them, went to their conventions. I spoke at their conventions, and I met people who 5 years later came back into the business and said, oh my gosh, I would have wished I stayed into this thing. I'm like, I've seen it because I was in this business. And I saw that over and over and over again. People that were in early and got bloody nosed, and it took too long. They had all the excuses, and then they dropped out. And then 3 or 4 years later, when we were still doing software for these companies, I see the same faces show up again at a convention, and the same exact story. Oh, if I would have stayed in. You guys, that's all it takes here. This mechanism that we're building is going to keep operating no matter whether you're here or not. We want you here, though. We want you to become millionaires, because if you're not becoming millionaires, this program is not succeeding. Jason and I and all the other partners don't succeed unless you are succeeding. And that's the way this entire program was built. Okay. Jason and I, we can't run away with any of this TruQoin cryptocurrency because we don't get any of it until you get yours. That's the way the program's built. The smart contracts are built that way. It's in our white paper. That's the way it works. Stay involved. That's my last message here. Meetings, events. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Telegram. All that information is pushed out every day. Jason's doing a great job of pushing the information out through these different social avenues. And we're on here every week, and we're here for you to help you continue to build your business. But that is what we're all about, is building this business and doing it right continually for as long as we're in it. And we plan to be here for the long haul. So that is this evening's presentation. I want to thank you. I did it. My goal tonight was to be about 40 minutes was all. Yippee, we did. So we'll go ahead and finish off here. If anyone's got questions, we'll wrap up with those. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, Deb. So we're stopping it now, and we'll do